204 Hanover Street, a zoning change request so that a restaurant can move in.
This is a building that's nearly at the end of Hanover Street at Cross 204, last occupied by High Gear Jewelry. Charles Berry, who's back at the middle table, has purchased the property. A friend of Siobhan Carew, who's sitting here at the table with me. Siobhan has operated Pomodoro, as mentioned, at 319 Hanover Street for 21 plus years. She opened in 1992. She's not had her lease renewed, so she won't be able to stay at that premises, and has been looking for another site. If you are familiar with her restaurant, it's a small restaurant with 20 seats. The proposal that you're looking at is also a relatively small restaurant with a total of 39 seats. 31 of those seats are inside, 8 of those seats within the building, but on the outside. I'll explain that when I get to the plan. Meaning there's an intention to move the first floor front window back so that you can have some tables in the front, which Siobhan thinks leads to an atmosphere that's more conducive to the neighborhood, etc., a small area within the building. It should be pointed out that her license that she would be taking with her is a beer wine. Do you have to? Just beer and wine, and she closes at 11 o'clock at night. That would stay the same when and if the license were transferred. We have to appear before the Zoning Board of Appeal. We do not have a date yet. If someone would raise the question, we have not been given a date, so I'm not sure when that will come up. But the reasons that we are going are several, which I'm trying to describe. First, we'll be talking the restaurant. A restaurant use in this location. This location is referred to as the Hanover Street Commercial District. Is referred to as conditional. And I think in the discussion recently, trying to explain what that means is it's not a forbidden use and it's not an allowed use in the zoning code. Restaurant use in the non-net is not allowed in any location, even in the business district, meaning even on the Hanover Street location, but rather is considered to be conditional. To try to explain what that means is a variance is required for a forbidden use. A conditional use permit is required for conditional use, meaning will this use as a restaurant have adequate means to service it as a restaurant? Will it interfere with pedestrian or traffic flow in the area? And is it in keeping with the overall nature of the zoning of the area? All of which we believe will be answered is yes. This restaurant is located in the area that has a number of other restaurants. Used to have the largest restaurant in the European, just 2 doors down with CBS's, and the size of this restaurant, as indicated, is rather small in terms of its size. The other relief that we were asking for is in filing the application, it was noted that the building was listed as a store or retail space on the ground floor where the restaurant would be going, the basement, and an office on the second floor and an apartment on the third floor. The office use hasn't been there that anyone can remember for any number of years. It's been an apartment. And we want to now legalize that use, in other words, change the office use on the second floor to an apartment use, and that results in the violations that you see on the list, meaning anytime you create an apartment, you are cited for not having parking and not having open space. This lot is completely a building. There's no open space on the lot at all, and there are no roof decks or balconies for open space. The last item on there has to do with what's called a rear yard setback, and what that's all about is on the roof of this building there's going to be what's called a head house, which is the exit for the staircase that will lead to the roof. When we were at the last meeting with Victor, the plan at that time also showed a head house for an elevator. Our architect is here tonight, Thomas Rose, sitting at the table, and doing research on the elevator, has found an elevator where it won't need a head house override, but the override will be a slight area above the ceiling of the third floor, and then a vent for the elevator above that. You can see that in the plan. So we've been able to take at least that out of the roof. The mechanicals for this are located in line where the kitchen itself is, which is sort of mid-restaurant. So we have a vent for, excuse me, a vent for the restaurant towards the middle of the building that we've also talked about as far as how high it should be and how it should be disguised, etc. And then the other mechanicals, which are generally HVAC, etc., are located, again, sort of centered in the building. But if you look at the plan, we'll be masking those with some type of a surrounding so you won't see them as mechanicals. You'll see some sort of either a lattice work or something else that has sound quieting material in it, etc. That's a plan for the restaurant. That's the reason for the relief that we are seeking. We have had conversations with our next door neighbor, the Romanos, whose counsel we will hear from Attorney Jabor, with some hope that we could address issues that they've raised as far as some of the issues that have come up. For example, we will take all deliveries and take out trash from the front of the restaurant. We will not use this alleyway that separates this building from the Romano property. The only use of the alleyway will be for the residential units that are in the building, which are 2. So everything else will come out from the front of the restaurant. Our trash will be stored internally and then removed in the evening for pickup. The issue of noise. We also have a contractor's rep here tonight where we will design the vent work so that, in fact, what's it called, UV?
Yep.
There's a system for venting that's referred to as UV. Help me with this.
It's a UV light system.
UV light system to
reduce grease, and we would do a variable speed drive on the fans for the lowest fans noise that's available technically.
So in terms of the questions that we've been asked was, use of the alleyway between the property, as we're saying, it will not be used for restaurant use, noise, etc. It's 11 p.m. Closing for the restaurant. She has not served lunch, but she may in the future serve lunch. And she's, as mentioned, only serving beer and wine with her meals. So again, if you're familiar, and to go through the plan so that you understand what we're talking about is in that middle drawing of the first page, what we've done is the dotted line is the so-called face of the building at the sidewalk at Hanover. Move that back to where you see those 3 seats. And those 3 seats are a counter which replicates what Siobhan has at Pomodoro now, which has been very popular, which is that counter at the front of the restaurant that looks out towards the street. It's not a bar, it's not anything else, it's just a counter where you can sit and dine and look out at what's going on the street. A rather small footprint, the kitchen being set up in the middle of the restaurant. The basement is prepped and storage. And again, everything is self-contained, inclusive of an elevator at the back of it that would be able to either bring people being the help up or down, or items up and down from downstairs, but the elevator is intended actually for the residential use. That's the access to the elevator. We will not have seating or anything in the basement. So, is there anything you'd like me to add?
Okay, thanks, Bill. Okay, let's start with any abutters or representatives of abutters. George?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Rulo, my good friend. Unfortunately, I have to be here to oppose this project. I represent the Romano family, they own Romano's florist. They're immediate abutter. You may know Adrienne Romano. She's your local florist, and she's been good to the neighborhood. She's lived here since 1947. She lives in the building with her 2 sisters and one of her sister's husbands. And she's a true North Ender and lived here. There's a reason why there's no restaurant there, because Mary Milano, who owned the Union Oyster House, owned it. It was a jewelry store, travel agency. And to put a restaurant there is like trying to put 10 pounds of sugar in a 5-pound bag. It's a small building, and Angie works 7, 8 o'clock at night. She's in her 70s, I won't give you her age. She goes upstairs, and she wants to have a peaceful night. If she doesn't have the air conditioner, she has to open her windows. And on the other side of the building, she has 10 tenants, well, like her family, and she charges them cheap rent. They're already complaining about the noise in the North End. You have 130 restaurants in the North End. If you want another 130, good luck to you, but you're not going to be able to live here. And I really ask you to take a close look at this. She's a North Ender. She's been here through thick and thin. She's not here to profit off the real estate. She's here to offer a service and to live in the community that she was born in. I think that's an important consideration. I've talked to Mr. Ferrulo, and again, he's a good friend of mine, and I really feel bad that I'm here opposing him. However, the proposal, if you look at it, they're going to put a vent that's going to create all kinds of odor. They're going to put all the mechanicals on the roof. All these windows are open, and it's just going to make the quality of life for her and her tenants miserable. To allow this to happen would be a disaster. I'm here usually trying to oppose things for the North End residents and try to improve or maintain the quality of life here. I don't come here supporting any developers and any developments in the North End. I come here because she's a North Ender. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but if you really take a look at this and scratch below the surface, what you're dealing with is a lot of noise, a lot of odors, and now she wants to put a, and in all due respect, I think she's a great businesswoman, has a good product. I don't mean it, you know, to belittle what is happening. Unfortunately, she's in the wrong place at the wrong time. They're going to put seating outside. I mean, how worse can you get? Put seating outside on a sidewalk. I don't think most of you know, if you walk down on a Saturday, you can't walk the sidewalks. You're going to have seating on the sidewalk. People are already walking out in the streets, it's a safety issue. I think if there was ever a project that you need to really take a hard look at, is this one here, and I respectfully ask you all to keep in mind what I just said. To reiterate, it's a disaster to a person that's lived in the North End, wants to die here, and wants to live in peace. She's not anti-this, she's not anti-anything, she just says, don't do it to me. And I ask you most respectfully to vote against it. Thank you.
Okay. Correction, the tables will not be on the sidewalk, will be indented into the property.
There might be 2. I don't know if we have 130 restaurants, but to reinforce that the tables are not going on the sidewalk. If you look at the plan, it's on the property. If you went by there now, it has a setback door with display windows on either side. That entire area will be pushed back so that those are enclosed. And you'll have 8 seats in an enclosed area on the property, not on the sidewalk.
Okay, thank you. Any other abutters? Okay, anyone else like to comment?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment and then a question. The comment is the zoning district is community commercial, not just commercial. And I'd like to remind everyone of this when Hanover Street proposals come up.
Could you explain the difference?
Well, the difference, I guess, is explained by the English language. Commercial standing alone means one thing, and community commercial presumably means commercial that serves the community. I don't know anything about that.
I think that's a guess. That's classified as a guess.
That's why I related it to the English language.
I just want to be clear.
That's,
Pretty good guess.
yeah, I would think so. What else does it mean? But anyway, and the question is this. I know this is a Board of Appeal matter that's before us now, but the licensing aspect of it is relevant. According to our records, which are also the records of the licensing board, the licensee is Gennaro's Inc., and the manager of the establishment is Linda Taglieri Riccio. In that case,
No, that's not up to date.
it's not up to date?
Correct? That's all the change.
Well, we have the 2013 information from the licensing board, and it shows it as that last year.
Siobhan will tell you that's been correct. That's been changed.
So the question is, does she have a license, or
Yes.
will she be looking for a new license and leaving that one there, which has
No,
another
the
license to
the
the market?
license is hers. If you check with the board, it's been corrected at the board.
Okay.
She is the listed manager of the license, and the license is hers.
Okay, next question? Did you have something?
No, that was the question I had, but I do have a comment.
Okay, anyone like to comment? Go ahead.
Just a question about the, quote, outdoor seating. Is that something that is negotiable, or?
Yeah, again, the idea of the outdoor seating, keep in mind, during the wintertime, you wouldn't have people seated outside, there's no enclosure, et cetera. The idea of the outdoor seating was to make it both appear and feel as if you're open to the street, so that, again, it's inviting. Usually people like the idea that they have seats in the window to look out. This is the idea that you can sit there, not late hours, since the restaurant closes at 11, so it's not a matter of late hours, and it's confined within the building itself, so it's not that it's out so noise travels, etc. But Siobhan has thought that her 20-plus years on Hanover Street told her that this was something that would be attractive for the restaurant, but attractive to the clientele as well.
So I just make it as a recommendation, there might be some concerns, if that is something that can be negotiated differently.
Okay, thanks, Jason. Bill?
It seems to me that the seating you're talking about is similar to what's been done in the Gelati place on Hanover Street, where there are a couple of seats on the beginning, inside of the storefront, and there's a stand that sells a gelati. I think this is what you're talking about. Correct. Am I right? So if you see the way that lays out, that's what they're talking about.
Correct.
Personally, I think it's a great idea.
I just have one question, one comment. What you're gonna have, I think you have it already, you have a line out the door. Because you're gonna be taking up space so people could be standing, and they're gonna be waiting outside on the sidewalk and disturbing the tranquility. You're taking away every inch of usable space and putting seating there, taking away.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to comment? Okay.
One concern about the restaurant itself, by the way, Siobhan has a great restaurant. She's run it in a great manner for many years. Glad to hear that you're thinking about doing lunches again. My memory is that you had lunches back in the 90s, the early 90s, and it was great to go to lunch there. So I missed that. And it was even better to be able to have lunch and then buy the painting that was right on the wall next to the table. And I still have that painting. I am, however, very concerned about retail storefronts being converted to restaurants and food establishments. We're losing more and more of our retail offerings in the North End. So how do we be a sustainable neighborhood if all we're going to have is either food establishments or high-end boutiques? We had a jewelry store at that location that was very popular, very affordable. We had a shoe store across the street that was very popular and affordable, and now it's a frozen yogurt establishment. Now we hear that the 1-800-Flowers, which was also very popular and affordable, is now possibly going to be another food establishment. We keep losing our retail storefronts for more and more restaurants. Yes, you're going to take your alcohol license, I assume, from beer and wine license, excuse me, from your current location and ask that it be transferred to the new location. I don't know what's going to happen with the existing location. I can only assume, especially where it's owned by, I believe, the Riccio family, that that will be another food establishment. I wish that someone at City Hall were looking out for what makes a neighborhood sustainable and what mix of establishments does every neighborhood need. I was hoping that conditional use looked at that, considered that issue. Probably not. Conditional use probably looks just at the building itself and the immediate surroundings. Nobody's looking out for the entire neighborhood and the sustainability of that neighborhood and everything that it needs to be a neighborhood. The only ones that can look out for that are us. And so the decisions we make are the most important decisions in terms of what our community is going to look like.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Where will the trash receptacles be stored?
In the basement.
The basement. It will not be in the attic.
No.
Thank you. Okay, if no one else has any comments, would someone like to make a motion to vote for or against?
So moved.
Thank you. Second? Jason, thank you. Okay, we're going to use the yellow ballot. If you support this rezoning, please circle support, and if you oppose, please circle oppose. Okay, we have the vote. The vote is 7 support and 28 opposed. 7 support and 28 opposed.